Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. We are in Maquoketa, Iowa, or at least I'm in Maquoketa, Iowa. Caitlin, my colleague, is down in Florida, so it's about noon here and sunny and warm, so I can't complain about that. I hope it is also sunny and warm wherever you are. Caitlin, you want to pop in and say hi real quick?
Hi guys. Can anybody see the slideshow that we have up? It's just not showing on my end, so I want to make sure everyone else can see it.
I can see it. We got a thumbs up. Looks like we can see it. Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. We're going to jump into it here pretty quick. I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time. Just a couple things. If you have a question, feel free to drop it in the Q&A box or the chat box. We'll be monitoring those. And then that's the best place. It's either in that question and answer box or in that chat box so we can see it there. And then, Tracy, it looks like you have your hand raised. Do you have a question for us, or is that you letting us know that you can see and hear us?
I think it was that one, Jess. When I asked, that's when her hand went up.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you all joining us today. Just giving just a couple minutes as people continue to pop in the room here. Today, this is our second B2B webinar series. Thank you, Tracy, for confirming you can hear and see. This is our second webinar in our B2B series, and this one is going to have a focus on our dog trainers and how Blue 9 Pet Products can help you guys build some profits, get some owner compliance in your programs, and we're going to show you some numbers on what we mean by that. Because we want you to succeed in your business, not just with your training results, but also in your profitability, because we are all for-profit companies. So we can kind of jump into it here. Caitlin is going to be our slide master. So let's start with the truth about the products. Most of you already recommend tools in your class, whether it's the KLIMB or the balance harness or your favorite leash or your favorite cookies and treats. You're already kind of in the habit of recommending great products to your customers. I know that I have a list of like my favorite dog toys, my favorite equipment, and when I raise a puppy, I'm like, here's everything that you should have at home. And oftentimes what it looks like is we're sending them like an Amazon list or something along those lines because we don't want to hold the inventory. We don't want to deal with it. But Blue 9 has a solution for that. We'll jump into in a little bit. And at the end of the day, your clients trust you, which is why they come to you for their training advice. It's why they come to you to ask what food they should be feeding. It's why they come to you because they want to know what products you are using because they trust your experience and expertise. And they want to buy from you, especially what you recommend. And they want to give you the money. If they're already paying you for training services, chances are they'll like upsell to products. It's not going to be that hard and scary. So, most of your clients already want to buy from you. Jump ahead there, Caitlin, when you get a second. Awesome. I'm going to spend a little time introducing kind of our equipment and our tools. I'm assuming most of you are familiar with Blue 9 Pet Products, are familiar with the KLIMB, are familiar with the balance harness. We're going to give you guys a quick overview on everything. So the KLIMB is the first professionally engineered and designed platform for working live animals. There's kind of some magic and some science in the elevation that it actually increases an animal's focus, decreasing their distraction level, which ultimately gives you faster and better training results. And I'm sorry this like one ear pod keeps like falling out of my ear and I keep messing with it. I'm distracting myself with it, so I don't mean to be distracting for you guys. So elevation helps the animals learn faster. It gives the animal a really clear choice point on when they're working on a behavior. So unlike a bed or a mat or something that's on the floor that their front paws can still touch the surface of the floor, it's a very obvious decision when they have to step down from that full foot of elevation onto the ground. So something like a stay is a lot easier for them to understand. I'm just losing that ear pod altogether. The structure that the KLIMBs can bring into something like a group classroom, or if you're doing private lessons, think of it as a student going behind a desk. When you go to a classroom at most schools, there's rows of desks, the students sit down, they're in that frame of mind to learn. Same thing with the KLIMBs. When you give the human and the dog learners a station to be at, so human A walking into group class, please go to the purple KLIMB. Next student coming in, please go to the black KLIMB. We can create that stationing areas, have clear boundaries for space within our group classes as well, and then also give the humans something to target. And then we can start incorporating it as well. You wait for the rest of class to come in, work on a sit, work on a down, work on something that you're already doing, maybe from last week's class, or just practice your dog hanging out on top of the climb. Be that pest dispenser, drop a bunch of cookies, all good things happen on the climb. The climb is only 14 pounds, super easy to transport. The legs unscrew and store underneath. They're weight rated to hold over 500 pounds. So porting them around, I know a lot of us private lesson trainers, like we kind of live out of our cars, right? You know, I've got extra leashes and treat pouches and cookies and food and climbs and all this stuff in my trunk, which part of the best part is they don't take up a whole lot of space. So I line my trunk with them, crates go on top of it, toys go on top of it, whatever else, and I can pull my climbs in and out as I need them. As I mentioned, the legs unscrew and store underneath. And one of the couple other factors about the climb is that it is UV stabilized. And when you ask me what that means that it is weatherproof, basically. The UV stabilization is what protects the material from getting brittle, from cracking when it's exposed to the elements over long periods of time. Quality control is really important to us at Blue Nine, so we have very thoroughly tested our products in all elements, from winters to deserts to everything in between all year round, and we're pretty proud of the durability and the longevity that you get out of the climbs. The balance harness. So if you haven't are not familiar with the balance harness, it is the #1 rated front clip attachment harness on the market, 8 years running, thanks to Whole Dog Journal, Business Insider, handful of other press that we can note that for you guys later. But what makes the balance harness so great is the fully adjustable comfort and freedom for the animal. So when I say fully adjustable, I mean we have 6 points of adjustment on that harness. So think of like a Doberman, or I have a standard poodle, very similar body types. They have a really narrow frame, but a very deep chest. Really difficult to find harnesses that fit those types of dogs well because the chest strap is often too tight. So with the balance harness, we can open up that chest strap, which is the 6 point of adjustment there, including 2 points of adjustment on the neck, the girth straps, both sides, the chest strap, as I mentioned, as well as the back strap. So think of our longer dogs that you need a little bit extra length there in order to make sure that the girth straps aren't riding into armpits. That's one of the magic features of the balance harness. The other part of it that's probably the most important is that Y-shaped design, which means as a front clip attachment harness, there is no restriction in movement for your dogs. So their shoulders are going to be able to maintain a full range of motion, full extension, just like, you know, if I was a human wearing, well, I am a human, I think. Laughing at myself. I hope you guys are laughing with me. If I was wearing a backpack for the duration of my life, very similar to a front clip attachment or a harness that cuts across the dog's chest, I'm not going to be able to extend my arms. I'm not going to be able to get a full range of motion. So the balance harness allows the dogs to maintain that full range of motion. It has a front clip and a rear clip. The way that I use both points is when my dogs, I need them kind of in a focus working, we're walking through an airport, we're at a trade show, or we're just doing some focus training. I use the front clip. That's become their cue. The back clip on the leash, they can go be out in front of me. They can hike, they can track, they can do what, go be a dog if you're on the back clip of the balance harness. That's how I use both points of attachments on it. And then just another feature that I really like is the buckle around the neck loop, so you can clip it on and off like a collar, which means you don't have to slip anything over the dog's head. So whether the dog just doesn't like things being slipped over their head, their ears are sensitive, or sometimes you just have a dog that has a wider head than their neck, I don't want to have to consistently be adjusting my harness, so I can just clip it on. With all products that you're using, the more that you demo it in class, the more that you express your love of it, the more likely your clients are going to be like, hey, where can I get that? And you can be like, right here from me. And then you make some money off of everything as well. And last but certainly not least is the Propel Air platform. If you're not familiar with inflatable platforms in your training, let's talk about it, because it is kind of, it's not a new thing, but I feel like the fitness in dogs as like common group class is becoming more and more standard. Would you agree, Caitlin?
Yeah, I feel like fitness is definitely becoming more of the new thing.
Cool. And Caitlin is our resident fitness instructor and trainer, so I'm going to let her kind of chat a little bit about the Propel here.
So the Propel has 2 different textured surfaces. We have a knobby side, which can help more with that proprioception, and some of the dogs that don't necessarily like so much of the knobs, we do have a different textured side that's kind of just lines. You can add in air to increase the difficulty, or take air out for your beginner dogs as they're getting used to it to make it a little easier. These are naturally fit into the fit dog programs or your enrichment classes. They're great for your trick dog classes, and they pair really well with the climbs when you're planning your fitness classes. Awesome. Now what you guys really want to hear about is how to include all of these into your programs. Back over to Jess.
Yeah. Well, what's cool is that we kind of have all of that done for you. Actually, Caitlin, can you grab from our website the download the trainers guides that are on our Learn portal and just drop them in the chat, that link, so everyone can get them real quick?
Yeah.
We have 2 guides. One is kind of a quick starting guide, right? That one's a little bit more for the average pet parent or really baby trainers. We got to build the education for them as well. And then we have a second guide that's how pro trainers are just kind of plugging and playing the climbs into their existing program. So we're going to get you some links to those 2 files. They are always available on our website. We're not just products, guys. Like we come with education as well. I've been in the pet industry for 15 plus years, worked on the service side, so we bring a lot of our expertise with us when we're launching new products and when we're launching especially our B2B programs. Like, the amount that I want you guys to succeed, I don't think I can describe. And I'm like, here are all of the ways we can help make you more money, and I really hope you listen to me. So some of the ways that you can build these into your programs is including the products into the cost of your programs right up front. There's a couple things that we do when we do that. A, it's scary because I'm going to ask for more money in the group for classes, which is okay. It's okay to ask for more money, but you're taking out the heavy sale, right? So you're selling your service as you normally would, but you're not having that also I want to sell you all of these products that go with it. It's like, nope, the cost of my program is X amount of dollars. You're going to get X amount of hours in training or board and train or whatever your program, group class, whatever offering you have stays exactly the same. You're just going to kind of increase the price to cover your cost of products and make a little money up front. So what you're doing is you're selling what I like to call the school supply set for your dogs, right? So you're coming into a dog training program, just like when I was back in school, and every summer I would get my school supply shopping list and said, before I show up to class on the first day, I need to buy my folders and my pencils and my notebooks and all this other stuff. We're essentially positioning the same thing for our students, whether it's a group class option, and we have some numbers on one of the next slides. We'll get there in a minute. I'll break it down for you guys. Board and trains is the easiest place to add in cost, right? You're going to go home with all of the tools and all of the equipment that I'm using to train your dog while it's here. What that does for the human when they go home with a climb and they go home with a balance harness and they go home with a treat pouch is you're setting that human learner up for success to maintain all of the training that you've already done. We know that consistency is magic for dog training. We know that that's really the secret recipe to success long term. And if we only set the dogs up for success when we're with us, we've already failed the humans, because really we're teaching the humans how to maintain everything that we're doing. So send the humans home, because it's easier to say, have your dog go to the climb. The dog is already pre-programmed onto the climb because of all the reinforcement history you've already done. And now the human's like, oh yeah, I get it. My dog hangs out on the climb when the doorbell rings and they're not running on my guests. Everybody good there? And of course, using your products in school, in classes, and the dogs love it. They really do. I wish I could swing my camera around down here because my poodle's just sprayed out on 2 climbs of the bed, just knocked out. He's super happy. And everybody wins that way. Your dogs win, your clients are happier, which means you're going to get better word of mouth, better referrals, better client retention, all of the things that hit your bottom line. Want to jump in here, Caitlin?
Yes. For your fitness and enrichment programs, I do feel like this is becoming your next thing. If you're not learning about fitness, you're leaving money on the table. So many clients, they want to take those basic classes, but then what do you do after that? What do you do next? It's, hey, let's do some fitness with our dogs to build that bond and also help keep them strong and do fun stuff with our dogs. Obviously adding the Propel and Climb into those classes, packaging them up like Jess has already explained, is a great way to increase that profitability a little bit. One of my local trainers here, they do kind of like an enrichment or drop-in membership where you can come into a trick class whenever you want, and you just pay a certain amount each month for that membership. You also can host the AKC Fit Dog Level 1. You could do like a virtual Facebook group, include the gear, different ways you can do that online. I'm going to jump over to the next one because it's a little bit more my cup of tea. Always, this is anytime you hear me talk about fitness, I'm always going to reiterate this every single time because it's so important. Making sure that your clients know that fitness classes are for healthy dogs. You're not a vet, you're not a rehab veterinarian, you're not there to help them, give them exercises because their dog hurt their knee. You're there to work with healthy dogs. That's there to save you and protect you as a trainer. I always recommend getting a little bit more training in fitness, and I know a lot of people wonder, how do I do that? The easiest option or your most economical is going to be your AKC Fit Dog instructor. They're going to give you some guidelines on how to do some exercises with those dogs, give you a little bit of guidelines for a class setup. And then you can also market the AKC Fit Dog certificate as well, which I know people like to get ribbons and fun things with their dogs. Can't really see behind me, but all that little blur is ribbons that I've gotten with my dog because I like to do those fun things. If you really want to go in depth into the canine fitness world, which I kind of have, then I just listed out a couple of different options for you guys to kind of look at more into. You've got your certified professional canine fitness trainer, which is Wizard of Paws, I believe, by, I'll think of her name when we're done with this, but a famous rehab veterinarian. She's very knowledgeable. Then you have the Certified Canine Fitness Trainer program that's out of University of Tennessee. And FENSI, FDSA, also does a fitness trainer certificate program. Those are just 3. There are a lot to choose from. And honestly, they all kind of have a lot of the same similar information that's just going to be packaged up by that trainer. But adding these into your class, whether you do another 6-week course to keep your clients coming back for more, those would be my recommendations on how to build a little bit more with those. Am I missing anything, Jess?
No, I think you did a great job, Caitlin. Does anybody have any questions, like kind of where we're moving right along here before I get into kind of the numbers and breakdown? Again, feel free to drop it in the chat or in the Q&A box there, and we'll make sure we get them answered.
Okay, now some
we'll keep
nitty-gritty.
moving along. Numbers, my favorite part. All right, so we wanted to kind of break down some like real world revenue examples for you guys. And I'm going to start with the balance harness because we have this point of purchase or pop display starter kit ready to go. This was our kind of design of what we know are our best selling sizes, colors, et cetera, that's like, you don't have to think about it, guys. You just need to put it up in the corner of your training space and say, I've got the balance harnesses here ready to go. We built in drawer space on the bottom there, so you don't even have to worry about like where you're going to store your back inventory. It is all in one piece. Takes up very little space. As you can see, it basically takes up less space than a KLIMB. Is that right? Am I reading that right? It takes up less space than a KLIMB.
Taller than a KLIMB, but yeah.
It's taller than a KLIMB, yes, but like footprint wise on the ground, it takes up less space by a KLIMB. KLIMBs are 24 by 24 inches. And I don't know why that's just kind of light bulb moment for me now. Anyway, we learned so much together. So just the pop display, words are hard. The pop display is $1,100. That's wholesale cost on your end, guys. So for $1,100 investment, you're going to get the 30 treat balance harnesses, the treat pouches, the matching leashes, the matching collars. When you sell that at MSRP, your profits on that $1,100 is about $600. A little bit more. It's like 637 or something like that to be exact. So that's money that you guys are just leaving on the table by sending them to Amazon or sending them to our website directly. Like, we appreciate that you send them to our website directly. We always appreciate that more than Amazon. And we want you guys to be able to make that money as well. So a couple of things on the balance harness line is it's kind of an introductory to the rest of our product line. We work on some tiered models of pricing. It can get a little complicated, but we're here to make it easy and help. So for the balance harnesses, this is, again, our recommended colors and sizes that we know are the top sellers. But after an initial stocking order, you have 0 minimums on reordering. So if you really have a client that wants an extra small pink harness, you can then log on, order that one harness, they'll get your wholesale pricing and ship it directly to that customer. So you don't always have to have a full inventory of all colors and sizes and everything. Have the basics just to get people working, just to get people like in your classes moving with the products or the equipment you're going to use. And then you can move into like expanding your colors, expanding your like offerings and stuff like that. That makes sense to everybody there? Ooh, hi, boys. My dog just woke up from a nap. All right, so we're going to move on to the climbs here. So I'm using this as a group class example. Really easy numbers, just kind of an average of what I've seen. So including it in that entry level 1 group class, right? So this is your puppies, this is your level 1 obedience. What used to be a $200 group class now for 5 weeks is going to be a $400 group class because I'm going to include the climb, right? So depending on where you fall in our tiered model of pricing, I did the 2 levels up. So if you spend more than $1,000 with us at Blue Nine, your climb pricing is basically $117. So by adding that $200 to your group class to send everyone home with a climb, you're making a little bit of money on the climb, and you're going to average an additional $83 per student. So if you have 10 people in your group class, that's an additional $800 in revenue just by selling the equipment with your classes. I'll say that one more time. It's an additional $800 in revenue at our lower level if you have 10 people per group class. What does that do to your bottom line? Now, if you have more than $4,000 in our account and purchase, or you're just going to like upfront, I want to go big and go home, then your climb price actually drops down pretty significantly. And then your profit increases to making an additional $95 per student. So same math, if you have 10 students in your group class and you sold them all on the school supply package that includes your lessons, you're making almost $1,000 additional revenue in that same group class without doing any extra work. Because usually when I'm in person, people's like eyes get wide and they're like, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. And I'm like, this is why we break it down. Cool. Any questions here? I feel like we're kind of flying through the programs. Cool. All right. Just wanted to make sure if you needed more time on the numbers, we could talk about it. And if you want to get more in depth in the numbers, like you'll have our contact info at the end of the meeting. But like Caitlin and I are happy to jump on a call with you guys and kind of walk you through this step by step as well. All right. So how to sell without feeling super salesy, because no one wants to be the used car salesman of dog equipment. Like we've talked about already throughout this webinar, it's not about sales. It's just the natural extension of your service. You're like, yeah, this is what I use. It's great. This is why I use it. You should definitely have it. That's it. It's not that hard, guys. Introduce and use it in your products and your lessons. The more that you use the products and the more that you demonstrate the reliability, the durability, all of that kind of stuff, your clients are going to see that in real time, and it's just going to be a natural like, hey, we're going to get that. Obviously, my dog loves it. Obviously, my dog is much more focused when they're on the climb. They're going to see it as well. For balance harnesses, fit them in class. If you're doing again, going back to that level 1, or you're doing I do a big loose leash walking seminar every year. It's like a 3-hour class, and I'll do like weeks of group classes because I travel way too much. I fit everybody for a balance harness at the beginning of that class. They get up on a climb, we fit them. I have a general idea of what size everybody is before they get there so that I can have the sizes of harnesses ready to go. And then we'll jump right into that loose leash walking class with the balance harness, with the multifunction leashes already on everybody. So it's just like, okay, you guys are dressed and ready for class, just like if your kids were in some sort of sporting event and they needed to show up with a helmet and pads and all the stuff. They're ready to go, ready to learn. Once they feel the difference, once they experience it, that again, that natural, all right, this makes sense, where do I buy it kind of thing, and then they just buy it directly from you. Including in your programs, like I said, that putting together that school supply set. If you want to talk more in depth about what your product or what your programs and offerings are looking like, pop me an email, schedule a call. Let's talk about it. I'm here for you guys, and I promise I won't try and sell you too much.
I'm going to jump in real quick, Jess, for like the fitness side of things. Something that I've done is I use all of our products in my fitness classes, but I give people options. Okay, hey, if you don't want to do this, here's other things you can use. But I find that once they use our products and they're doing the exercises I'm showing them, with our stuff, they're like, nah, I just want to buy that. That's way easier than making or trying whatever. They might go home and try it and realize it's actually a lot easier to just do it that way. That's the way I kind of do it without being salesy. Like, this is what I'm using. Here are some other options for you. And then I find they still come back and just buy what I'm using.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Always give them the option, and the option is just like, yeah, you can go do it on your own. Cool. Another opportunity for questions. We're trying to keep these under 30 minutes, so we don't want to take up too much of all your busy day, but we always have time for questions. So if anyone has anyone, now is the time. I'm always like, do people really not have questions? Like, I can't be that good at covering everything all the time.
Looks like we don't have anything. Oh, we got thank you, Kelly, for letting us know that you liked what we gave you guys today. Also, as always, when we do these webinars, they're for you guys. So if there's things that you want covered, just shoot us an email. We're here to give you guys information you want. We just think that this was something that you guys wanted to hear about. So if there's more, let us know.
And then on the next slide, I think we have more just contact information. Or was that the last one?
That was it.
Okay.
Oh,
there we go. I was like, yeah, if you want some information, if you're not already one of our wholesale dealers, here's where you can sign up or pop us an email. Minimum unit per order. The only time we have a minimum is on that initial stocking order, and our minimum is $400. For KLIMB, if you want to just get into that better pricing that saves you some additional money, you're looking at about 8 KLIMBs, which, let me do some quick math here. You're looking at about $900 on 8 KLIMBs plus shipping, which brings them down to that $116 price. And Brittany, if you have more questions on that, feel free to pop us an email. All right, you guys have been awesome. We're going to close this up. This recording will be available. So Caitlin will make sure all the techie stuff happens on the back end and that everyone can get a recording of this if they missed it. But we appreciate all your time today.
Thanks, guys. Bye.